Okay, hopefully this is going to be quick and simple. Assembling a standard valve for a double valve action. Once you've got all these old parts off, and there are a number of ways to pull the old parts off. I'll just take this old valve that I got here. Let's see. Let me find an old. I've got an old one around here someplace. Here's an old one. Here's an old one. There are a number of different ways to do this. I find the easiest way is just to take a little pair of vice grips. Take a pair of pliers. Grab onto the, that one's not going to work. Grab a pair of channel locks. And you can just twist it off. It's really not all that. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to knock the camera all over the place. Take the old parts off. And we're going to assume that this is an old part. Okay, so you got all the old parts off. Okay, time to put in the new parts on. Put on a little piece of tan pneumatic cloth. This is actually what creates the wobble, just so you know. Put it on the top plate, and then this is what the valve facings are going to look like when you get them. So you have to remove the paper. When I was doing this before, it went a lot easier. Okay, come on. Come on, fingers. I'm being extra delicate here. I don't know why. Don't need to be. And this is special paper that doesn't leave any residue. You can see that there's no residue on here. Okay, so I dropped the piece I was working on. There we go, we got it back. You got that. And you got to push this on. And this can be a little intimidating. Okay, so I got a couple of holes in this. Got a couple of holes in this piece of aluminum right here. And you put that over the hole. And you just take a small hammer here and just punch it on through. Put on the backing plate and press it down. Press it down hard until you can see that the plate is sitting flat against the leather. And you take I got a punching here. There's the other punching. Punching on. Sometimes I hate it when I'm all thumbs. Okay, and then you take this and this hole right here. This hole is just a slightly bit larger than the stem. And center that over there. And you lightly tap that down. until you see it's almost starting to be closed. And you see, I've still got a lot of wobble in there, and that's, I don't use the hammer to finish the job. Okay, what I use to finish the job is this pair of pliers that I made years ago. Okay, that's got a groove in it. Okay. And that way I can set this up so that as you can see, the jaw of the plier is just perfectly flat with the rest of it, you see, so that as I'm applying pressure gently, I can get it, and I can check the wobble. And see that I've got just enough wobble in there. Now, if you happen to do it too much, this has got about 3 to 4 degrees of wobble. It's not quite enough. There should be a tiny little bit more wobble than that. So what I do in a case like that is, if I happen to put it down too much, take the vice grips, pull this out a little bit. Okay. And you can see now I've got too much wobble. Okay, that's too much. So I'll be a little more delicate this time when I squeeze this down. Watch it a little more carefully. And there you go. And that's nice right there. You can feel it when you put your hands on top of this like this, and you know that you're holding that steady, and then you rock the bottom of the stem back and forth, and you can feel the wobble in there. Reblitz says that, you know, more is better. You know, I don't know. You know, I can't see that you're ever going to need more than a few degrees of wobble, because the valve itself is guided with a valve guide in the top and the bottom, and as long as the valve guide is centered correctly, the valve is going to go up and down. Okay? So having an excessive amount of wobble seems unnecessary to me. So that's it. Of course, when you go to put on the next one, and this is perhaps the more difficult of the situations, although I don't have a test stack to be able to measure this. But when you're putting on the second one, what you really have to do is you have to know about where the original one was, okay? And then once you put on the pieces of the second one, you have to measure the depth of the well, you know, of the valve well, to find out about how far it is. So that you can get it in the ballpark, and then you may have to make a number of adjustments, usually with, I mean, what some guys do is they'll cut another hole in their block that's the maximum depth that they want it, and then they can just go ahead and put it in there and then just bang it on in until it hits the bottom of the hole that they've made in their block, and that's going to be the maximum distance. And then they'll go ahead and put paper spacers in between the exhaust valve and the collar in order to adjust the valve travel.